Welcome. My name is Rachel Beach, and I am an education program consultant here at the Kansas State Department of Education. I'm here to share a little bit of information about the discipline data collection for 2021. The discipline data collection is located in the Kansas Integrated Accountability System, also known as KIOS. The reporting instructions are located on the KSDE website at ksde.org / discipline data collection. The discipline data collection is typically completed by a principal or data clerk. Many school districts put the completion of the discipline data collection on an end-of-year checklist for whomever is responsible for completing it. Typically, the principal is responsible for completing it prior to leaving for the end of summer. District admin should also have access to view the discipline data and run discipline reports to check for accuracy. All accredited buildings are required to report on the following components for all students which they are responsible: bullying, felonies, misdemeanors, and referrals to law enforcement, firearms, all disciplinary removals for students with a disability, or IDEA, all disciplinary removals for students engaged in the foster care system. This is a new category and we'll discuss it in a minute. Violence-related expulsions and services during expulsions. For the bullying outcome, you must select a type of bullying from 4 categories: physical, cyber, verbal, or relational. The discipline outcomes must be identified as in-school suspension, out-of-school suspension, expulsion, or other. Other bullying outcomes could refer to counseling sessions, phone calls home, or peer mediation. The felonies, misdemeanors, and referrals to law enforcement. If an incident results in a report to law enforcement, the location of the incident must be selected, and users must indicate whether an arrest or referral was a result of the report to law enforcement. If an incident involves a firearm, users must indicate whether the student was a student with a disability at the time of the incident and must select the disciplinary outcome relating to the firearm incident. Students with disabilities. Any incident involving a student with disability must be reported in this section. Disciplinary outcomes can include ISS, OSS, expulsion, or removal by school personnel. In previous data collections, the outcomes also included the removal by due process hearing. This has been removed as an option for the IDEA section. If a student is removed through a due process hearing, KSDE will track that information. If a student with a disability is removed through ISS, OSS, expulsion, or by school personnel, the user must also indicate whether the incident involved drugs, weapons, serious bodily injury, or a violation of school code of conduct. Violence-related expulsions. This was a new category for the 1920 discipline data collection. Users must indicate whether the student was expelled for a violence-related offense, including but not limited to murder, aggravated assault, battery, criminal threat, hazing, kidnapping, robbery, burglary, or stalking, or sex crimes such as rape, aggravated indecent liberties with a child, indecent solicitation of a child, sexual battery, sexual exploitation of a child, and sodomy, child abuse, or terroristic threat. If the user indicates that the student engaged in a violence-related offense and was subsequently expelled, the user must also indicate whether educational services were provided during the expulsion. The last category is referring to any other expulsion not reportable under the bullying, firearm, student with disabilities, or violence-related expulsion categories. If the user indicates that a student was expelled, they must also indicate whether educational services were provided during that expulsion. For students with alternative placements, they must be reported through their accountability or responsible for building. For example, if a student is attending a psychiatric residential treatment facility and engages in a reportable discipline incident, the details of the incident must be sent back to the student's accountability report for submission. Not all disciplinary referrals are reportable to KSDE. They must meet one of these criteria. If, for example, you have a student that throws a chair, but it is not considered bullying, felony, misdemeanor, doesn't involve firearms, or a student with a disability or engaged in the foster care system, and the student was not expelled, this offense is not reportable to KSDE. All discipline incidents that reported to KSDE must meet one of these criteria. All incidents must be occurred, all reportable incidents that occurred between July 1st, 2020 and June 30th, 2021 must be reported. The submission window for the 2021 discipline data collection will be open on May 14th and will run through June 30th, 2021 at 11:59 p.m. Schools may submit their discipline data for the 2021 school year if they are reasonably certain that no more disciplinary removals will occur before June 30th at 11:59 p.m. Schools should take into consideration any summer programming or cyberbullying that may occur before the June 30th deadline. If a building does submit prior to June 30th, they do have access to reopen their own discipline data to add or edit discipline incidents. Here are some discipline definitions. They are also listed in the discipline definitions on the KSDE website. Please take a note at the in-school suspensions. Look at the underlined phrase. The U.S. Department of Education requires that these removals be submitted within the discipline data collection. This removal is not typically counted toward the special education discipline rule regarding the provision of services on the 11th day of removal. Beginning in the 2021 discipline data collection, any incident involving a student engaged within the foster care system that results in an ISS, OSS, or expulsion must be reported. This is a new requirement added to Governor Kelly signing Executive Order 2053 that establishes an annual education report card for students in foster care. Part of this report card must include suspension and expulsion data for students in foster care. All incidents involving a student in foster care that result in an ISS, OSS, or expulsion are to be reported. In addition, if an expulsion occurs, it must also be reported in the category Other Expulsions Not Reported Elsewhere to capture the educational services provided during expulsion. A new report is also available to ensure accuracy of those students submitted as engaged in the foster care system. We will see that in a minute. The discipline data collection is important to both building principals, superintendents, and special education directors. Your LEA IDEA timely and accurate data report can be impacted by the discipline data collection. The timely and accurate report is a component for your LEA's IDEA level of determination. The kiosk discipline data collection is noted in the Kansas APR District Timely and Accurate Data Report and is comprised of two components. One, all districts must have submitted the discipline data collection in the kiosk website for the 2021 school year, and all students and incidents entered into the discipline data collection in the kiosk web application must have a corresponding match for IEP service lines in the SPED Pro application for the date of the incident if the student is a student with disabilities. In addition, this discipline data is also used to calculate and identify districts for significant disproportionality, an indicator for the rates of suspension and expulsion. Here we see a sample timely and accurate data report from the Kansas APR website. If you'll notice that the second to last column says kiosk discipline with a note. You must meet both components to earn the full kiosk discipline point. Please use the discipline IDA validation report to help identify areas of concern prior to submitting the 2021 discipline data collection. We have some reports to help you check the accuracy of your data. The discipline IDA data validation report shows users which students and incidents do not have a corresponding match for IEP service lines. If a student is identified in this report, users must update information in either kiosk or SPEDPro to accurately reflect the status of students with disabilities to match special education service lines. If a student did not have an IEP on the date of the incident, they should not be reporting kiosk as a student with disability on that incident date. Let's take a look at this report. This is the Discipline IDA validation report. You'll see a kid's ID number, a reporting organization, a reporting building, and an incident date. If a student is listed on this report, it means that they were identified as being a student with disabilities on the incident date, but they either don't have service lines or they were not a student with disability on the incident date. If this is the case, you will need to work out any discrepancies by talking with the MIS clerk, the principal, and the special education directors. This could be a SPED Pro issue or it could be a kiosk issue. So please work together to resolve the issues. Any entries on this report must be resolved by August 1st. Another helpful report is the Discipline Incident Duplicate Report. This report will display any duplicate incidents within the data collection for the selected school year. The entire discipline incident record must match for it to appear on the Discipline Incident Duplicate Report. As you can see here, this incident involved a student on November 4th, and it was in the category of felonies, misdemeanors, and reports to law enforcement. The record matches completely. So if that is a duplicate, you will want to remove one of those incidents from your report. Here is a new discipline foster care validation report. This shows which students are not marked as a student engaged in the foster care system as identified in the KSDE foster care application. If a student is identified in this report, users must confirm that the identified students were engaged in the foster care system at the time of the discipline incident. Discipline incident duplicate reports also shows which category the duplication occurs in. The Discipline Incident Detail Report allows users to see all the discipline incidents entered by building. Please use this report to ensure the accuracy of your discipline data. Sometimes student information systems inaccurately code students during a discipline incident that results in inaccurate data. For example, one district had all the discipline incidents marked as expulsions not reported elsewhere, or the bottom category. The district did not have 423 expulsions and did not conduct 423 expulsion hearings. Districts should have used this report to ensure valid data had been submitted through their SIS, especially if using the upload feature. Users have until June 30th to reopen their discipline data collection and correct the data before resubmitting. After June 30th, you will need to contact me via phone or email to reopen the discipline data collection for revisions. The discipline data incident report allows you to filter based on the type of discipline incident that occurred. If you have questions about the discipline data collection or how it impacts your timely and accurate data report, please give me a call at 785-296-8965 or email me at rbeach@ksde.org. I'm here to help. Thank you.